up, guys? Welcome back to another Friday Finish Line. Thank you for joining me here on my YouTube channel where I take motivational quotes and I use them on different topics, not only to inspire you guys, but you can take these quotes and use them to inspire others. That being said, my topic of discussion today is willing. Are you willing to do what it takes to have your dream, have your career, have the life that you want? And also, are you willing to be different? Are you willing to put yourself out there and show the world, who you truly are and who you truly want to be? So that being said, I have two amazing quotes for you guys today. Let's get started. All right, I'm gonna start you guys off with the first quote. It comes from Unknown. This person says, "In the willingness to fail, you'll find the courage to begin." I like this one because it kind of goes with the theme I've been talking about when it comes to mental health and when it comes to where we want to be in this life. A lot of us are afraid of fear, and that is a mental blockage that I feel as though keeps us stagnant, keeps us where we are, and it makes us keep our thoughts to ourselves because we're so afraid to share our fears. We're so afraid to tell people that we are scared that we'll just bottle it up. We'll hold it inside of us and we'll never try, we'll never do something, we'll never risk it because of that fear of, seeing our parents fail, that fear of seeing our friends fail, that fear of seeing our own selves fail. But in reality, it should be that indicator to us that yes, we failed, we messed up in this moment, but that doesn't mean we have to stop. It doesn't mean what has happened hasn't changed us for the better. And I always relate it back to this same thing I used to feel as a child when I went to Six Flags for the first time. I was so afraid to get on these rides. I was so afraid to, be in there. I thought it was scary, but I was with older people, I was with more experienced people, and they told me that, don't be scared. Once you get on, you're gonna want to get on again. And that's exactly what happened. That fear I thought I had inside of me just was thrown away because I had so much fun that I would have never known I could have that much fun if I didn't try, if I didn't put myself out there or take that risk. And so obviously with bigger things, when it comes to money, when it comes to family, when it comes to our own personal well-being, it is a lot more factors that come into play in the decision that we make when it comes to whether we take that risk or not. And so I understand when it comes to that, but there is ways to go around it. There is ways to sort of navigate that and to take smaller risks so that it can build up to that bigger risk. But not taking the risk at all, that is what I believe to be the biggest, shortcomings of each and every one of us. A lot of us feel as though we're not good enough, that we're not able, but we are. And we need to start believing that. And so my next quote for you guys comes from Jin Ron. He says, "If you are not willing to risk the unusual, you will have to settle for ordinary." A lot of us want to live this lavish life. We want to be a part of this amazing world that we are, enamored by. We want to be these people that people can look up to, but we're not willing to take those risks. We're not willing to do what others are willing to do. And so I say this to say, if you have this sort of mental blockage, if you have this sort of idea in your mind that is holding you back from continuing or growing or trying something different because you're afraid of what people are going to think of you, I want you to know this, that once you start making your moves toward the things that you want, yes, people are going to fall off. People are going to, sort of fade into the background. That doesn't mean you hate them. It doesn't mean that they're not aligned with you. It just means that you are going on a journey that they necessarily cannot come on. And you have that love for them, keep them at arm's distance, but where people stand in your life and the parts that they play. So if they're not able to play that part in this next chapter of your life, then that's what it is. And that's, the reality of life. And so as we move forward, as we grow, don't think of losing people as sort of a bad thing. Think of it as, it's time for us to grow. It's time for us to move on from each other. And you know what? When we later on down the line, when we come back together, maybe we'll be in an even better place and become even greater friends because we've had that history together. And I always say that as being the catalyst of where we all sort of have a decision to make when it comes to our friends, our own well-being. Choose yourself. Choose your peace. Choose what you want to do because this life is your own. And if you don't want it to be ordinary, you have to make the hard decisions. And if you don't want it to be ordinary as well, you have to do what people aren't willing to do. And that means putting yourself out there, doing something different, and maybe even being made fun of and being looked at as someone who's, stupid or, crazy, whatever it may be. But this idea that if you want to be special, if you want to be someone that is seen as like a leader, then you have to put yourself out there. And a lot of us, we don't want that. We want to live a normal life. We want to do the normal things. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with normal. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with normal. What I'm saying is if you have this part of you that is calling you to do something, then go and do it. Don't let the fear of what if deter you from doing it. And also, stop holding yourself back. We're our greatest enemies. We're gonna put ourselves down more than other people. So what is it that you want to do? How do you want to be weird, I guess? All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me here on my Friday Finish Lines. I'll see you guys next week with a new video. I appreciate each and every one of you for joining me here. Sorry, I fixed my pants, but I wish you guys all the best. Keep up with your mental health. Keep up with the people around you and their mental health. Make sure you're watching over them, guiding them, and make sure that you know that your friends are okay. And don't be afraid to check up on them. Don't think that not checking up on them is gonna be like the worst thing ever. It happens. We get busy. Life gets busy. Just do what you can and be a friend. All right. I'll see you guys next week. Drink your water.